Hi again, everyone. Scott Plyer, Pop Cool fan here, and in this video, what I want to do is I want to talk about a certain franchise, two movies in particular that I think are not necessarily underrated, but are movies that I very much enjoy, and I was considering maybe doing these movies separately, but I also thought about, why not talk about both movies in this one video. And those two movies are the original Invisible Man that came out in 1933. And speaking of that original movie, it came out like 90 years ago, nearly a century ago. So yeah, really old movie. And the original novel, The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, it's one of the most influential stories in science fiction from back in the day. And I remember seeing the original Invisible Man movie a couple times as I got a little bit older, as a teenager. And also, for those of you that have followed my channel for a while, you've seen my review of Hollow Man, which is also a movie that I very much enjoy, starring Kevin Bacon, and I really enjoyed that remake. And also the new film that came out like 3 years ago, back in 2020, Invisible Man, directed by Leigh Whannell, by the way. Leigh Whannell, who started his career as an actor in the original Saw movie. Didn't think I'd be talking about him again so soon, but yeah, I think mainly I'm going to be talking about the original film for a little bit, and then the 2020 film. But yeah, Claude Rains as the character, he was very maniacal in his laugh, and it was one of the first examples of a movie where you're watching a live action film that's in black and white, and you see what they were able to do to make Jack Griffin invisible in the original film. And back then, like the effects that they were able to do were astonishing at that point in time, back in the 1930s. And I mean, as of now, like 2023, ancient film. So, but yeah, at the time, the effects of what they were able to do, with how they filmed the actor and having him like in a black room or something, and then they had the whatever it was covering his face, and then the sunglasses, made the character look very interesting and iconic in that original film. And it's also one of the few Universal Monster class. It's one of the few classic Universal Monster movies that actually has quite a high body count, which is interesting because Jack Griffin made that train crash which killed like 100 people. So yeah, it's one of the few Universal Monster movies that had a high body count, and it's a movie that I enjoy, even though it's really old. I like that character. He was very maniacal in his laugh and his mannerisms, similar to characters in more modern day horror films like Chucky, for example. And I just think that Claude Rains just did such an iconic performance as that character in the original film. And I think I've seen the sequels too as well. There were sequels to the original film, Invisible Man Returns, Invisible Woman, and then Abbott and Costello meets the Invisible Man. It became a franchise back then in the 30s and 40s. And then obviously it was remade into the Hollow Man movie with Kevin Bacon. And there was also a sequel to that, Hollow Man 2, which I've also seen. And then obviously the newest film that came out in 2020, directed by Leigh Whannell, which, going into talking about that film, I love that film. it's one of my favorite horror films of 2020 because Leigh Whannell did such an amazing job directing that film, from the cinematography to the lighting to the effects, the special effects. You know, I mean, the actor was wearing like a green screen like costume, and it was really interesting what that this movie, even though it's a horror film, it relied a lot more on like paranoia, psychological, kind of a thriller. It was more of that than being like a straight up horror film. And because, you know, you followed Adrian Griffin and his wife, and he was very controlling, he was abusive, and he would not let her go. It was very traumatic for her, and trying to get away from him, and that was the basis of the Invisible Man's goal in the new film, going after her and primarily focusing on her, trying to, you know, keep her. And it was very disturbing in a lot of ways, very added to her paranoia, because no matter where she went, she always felt like she was being watched, and it led to some very great moments of suspense and build-up. And easily, this new film, it was just really well directed, which is surprising because it was only the second film that Leigh Whannell ever directed, and he did an amazing job directing the film. And it's one of my favorites of 2020 in regards to horror films. And yeah, if I had to pick like a favorite character out of all these classic Universal monsters, I'd have to pick Invisible Man. I like a lot of these Invisible Man movies, and it's just I like the more science fiction aspect of this particular franchise. And in that original film, Jack Griffin made himself invisible via chemicals and basically mixing chemicals together. And also in the Hollow Man movie, it was different. You know, they used more scientific methods to make Kevin Bacon's character invisible, and I thought the special effects in that film were pretty well done too for a movie that came out in the year 2000. And in this new film, they made it grounded in a way that Adrian Griffin and his brother Tom made themselves invisible with this like really fancy, technologically advanced suit. And that also made for some really great moments with the suit itself within the story of the film. And I thought that was really fascinating. And yeah, like, it was really cool. And I think out of all of these movies, easily my favorite is a new film from 2020. But I enjoy all of these movies, though, not gonna lie. This is a franchise that I really enjoy. I really like the Invisible Man franchise. And if they ever did like a remake or reboot of Creature of the Black Lagoon, I'm definitely all for that as well. I definitely think Creature from the Black Lagoon, out of all the classic monsters, deserves a reboot, if you ask me, out of all of them. Because Dracula has been overdone, The Mummy has been overdone, Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Goat Man, that guy needs a new film. Maybe that will happen soon, because I enjoyed the Creature from the Black Lagoon movies as well. I like the more science fiction based monster movies from those older films. And yeah, so that should do it. Yeah, 90 years. 90 years. This is the 90-year anniversary of the original Invisible Man, which came out in 1933. And that movie left quite the legacy, and it was very influential. And I loved it. I love this franchise. And yeah, that should do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Surprise!